What is up, lads? How's it going? How are you getting on? And welcome back to the channel. A topsy-turvy double game week 23 that definitely played with my emotions came to an end last night. Thankfully, the Arsenal vs City tie was a game to remember for my team. If you're watching this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. In this video, we'll be looking at my game week 23 team review along with my game week 24 team selection. Let's get into it. After 29 points in his last 3 game weeks, unfortunately Kepa's fine runner form came to an end in the early kick-off on Saturday. It was a slightly disappointing goal for Chelsea to concede as their former man Emerson creeped in at the back post to slot it away. Chelsea have a nice run of fixtures up until game week 31 with Southampton to start off this weekend, so I'll be hoping for another clean sheet from Kepa and a possible double-digit haul. Moving on to the defence, it was a poor show of returns, especially with Ake and White both having 2 fixtures. Ake was left on the bench for the Villa game, but the only consolation was Villa scored. It was a reverse scenario for White last night when he was left on the bench against City. Tomiyasu's early mistake led to De Bruyne's goal, so it may be the case that White earns a spot back at the weekend, but it's definitely something I'll have to keep in mind. Ake is also a slight rotation doubt, but I'm expecting him to start against Forest after having a decent game last night. Kieran Trippier failed to return for the second week in a row, and with Liverpool to play in game week 24, a blank in game week 25, and then facing City in game week 26, he may not see some game time in my team over the next few weeks. The only downside of my defence was leaving Shaw on the bench for his 12-point haul. I still stand by my decision to bench him, as Leeds looked threatening in the game, but it was a hard one to take, losing out in his return. It was a better show of returns in midfield, with Rashford, Saka and De Bruyne all returning well. My transfer move of Martinelli to Saka was the right decision, as the Englishman scored a massive 15 points compared to Martinelli blanking. That move also ensures I don't have a rotation headache with Martinelli, especially with Trossard pushing for a starting spot in the team. Kevin De Bruyne gave me a roller coaster of emotions over the double game week, starting off with a blank against Villa when Mahrez hauled. It was definitely a frustrating watch, as a Mahrez non-owner seen him step up for the penalty in the Villa game. Thankfully, De Bruyne was the main man last night after he came away with a goal and an assist for a 15-point haul over the double game week. Rashford proved his worth once again with a goal after he moved to a central position late on in the Leeds game. Bruno Fernandes was the only player to blank for my midfield, and he probably should have came away with a return after missing some big chances. I'm in no rush to get rid of him this week when United play Leicester, and with the added bonus of being on penalties, I'll be hoping to get some returns this weekend. Moving on to our front three, Mitrovic was once again a disappointment after he blanked against Forest. At least our other budget option in Nketiah managed an attacking return last night when he was fouled for a penalty. Erling Haaland was the main talking point of the game week after he only played 45 minutes against Villa. He stepped up last night with a goal to bring a 20-point return from the armband. I predicted at least 2 returns over the double game week, so I was glad to see this outcome. You definitely have to feel sorry for the people who triple captain Haaland, especially when Mahrez took the penalty in the Villa game. This also means I made the right call, triple captaining Rashford in game week 22. All of these returns led to me scoring 79 points for the game week, and it means I've now dropped to 192k overall. Last night's game was a saving grace for my team, as I was sitting at 300k after having no Mahrez in my team. Thankfully, Kevin De Bruyne's haul allowed me to claw some ground back, so I'm fairly content with the ending to the game week last night. The next few game weeks will be crucial in my season, so I'll have to plan carefully. With a lot of blank game weeks and double game weeks coming up for FPL managers, let's take a proper dive into how the schedule is looking at the moment. Looking ahead to game week 25, we already know that Arsenal, Liverpool, Everton and Wolves will have a double game week. United and Newcastle will face off in the EFL Cup final, so that means Brentford and Brighton will blank this week too. Most managers will have 3 to 4 players between United and Newcastle, so I'll be looking at offloading some of these players to bring in Liverpool assets for their double game week. Hopefully Salah and co will have picked up form before their double game week. Taking a look at game week 27, Brighton, Brentford, Palace and Southampton will all double this week. It's not the most attractive set of teams for a double game week, but Matoma, Tony and Estepinian will be popular amongst teams in game week 27. Game week 28 will prove to be the biggest blank game week of the season, with the FA Cup games falling on the same week. A lot of the teams that blank in game week 28 will then double in game week 29 when the fixtures are rearranged, but we'll talk about my chip strategy later on in the video. Game week 29 will prove to be the biggest double game week of the season, and a lot of the blank fixtures in game week 28 will be moved to game week 29, so this will be a bit tricky to navigate. We'll also have another blank in game week 32, with 4 to 8 teams most likely blanking. 10 this season, we'll have 2 double game weeks in 34 and game week 37. This shows the importance of keeping your chips available so you can attack these double game weeks and help you push up the ranks for a strong finish to the season. Massive thanks to Ben Crellin on Twitter for this useful info. Make sure to give him a follow. Taking the future double game weeks and blank game weeks into account, here's how my revised chip strategy is looking like. With a lot of teams that blank in game week 28, then doubling in game week 29, it looks like game week 29 is the best week to free hit and stock up on 11 double game week players. By wildcarding in game week 33, I'll be able to stock up on players that double in game week 34 and game week 37. Wildcarding in game week 33 allows me to build a 15-man strong squad for the best use of the bench boost in game week 34. Looking ahead to this week's deadline, my team is in good shape for Game Week 24, so I think the best option here is to save my free transfer so I can attack the teams who double in Game Week 25. Looking ahead then to Game Week 25, depending how Liverpool perform at the weekend, Mo Salah could make its way back into my team for Liverpool's double game week. There's a lot of football to be played before this, however, but this is the kind of move I'd be looking to make. Looking ahead to this weekend's games, here's some tips you should be considering ahead of the Game Week 24 deadline. I'd advise on trying to save a transfer this week. It will be very beneficial for Game Week 25. If your team does need a transfer, make sure you're bringing in a player that has a double game week next week. Be wary as well, I also expect there to be some rotation with Champions League games around the corner. Looking ahead to my Game Week 24 team, there is just one position up for debate between Trippier and White. I'm currently leaning towards playing Trippier for his attacking threat and the slight chance of rotation with Ben White. For now, my team is as follows: Kepa in goals, Trippier, Shaw and Ake in defence, Saka, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes and De Bruyne in midfield, and Haaland, Mitrovic and Nketiah up top. I'll be hoping to turn my arrows green this week and get close to the top 100k. Looking at captaincy this week, Erling Haaland is the main man once again after coming out of the Arsenal game last night unscathed. There's a slight chance of a rotation risk, especially with the Champions League games midweek, but I'm expecting him to start the game and get the job done in the first 60 to 70 minutes. He's only blanked once in his last 5 games, so I'll be hoping for another return at the weekend. If you've made it to the end of the video, please give it a like, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're currently on the way to 3k subs. I'll be streaming Saturday morning before the deadline, so I'll see you all then. There you have it, there's my Game Week 24 team. Best of luck for Game Week 24, I'll see you in the next video.